afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Melissa Tuno. I am a specialist with the Department of Educational Technology, and I would like to take a minute to thank you all for joining us at our 2021 Fast Forward a Decade and Change conference. This is the Blender, your one-stop shop for curriculum resources and tools session. Before we get started, there's a couple of housekeeping items that I need to review. If you happen to find us on YouTube, please don't forget to register for the technology conference at technologyconference.palmbeachschools.org. This is a way that you will be able to access the rest of the sessions as well as possibly win a prize. In addition, you can use the chat to communicate with one another. This is the chat that is on YouTube, not in the platform itself. The session is going to be recorded and it will be available on the platform for 30 days and also on our YouTube channel for the life of the channel. Please like the video by clicking the thumb up symbol below. And also you can subscribe to the EdTech YouTube channel as well. In the chat, you will see individuals with wrenches next to their names. These are our moderators. They will be with us throughout the session. We'd love to see where you are from in the chat and things that really spoke to you. Please don't forget to share on social media and don't forget to use hashtag PBC Tech Conference on Twitter and be sure to tag at EdTechPBC as well. Okay, at this point, I would like to welcome our presenters. Welcome the Chief Academic Officer at SRG Technology, who also brings us Blender, Gail Elizabeth Pierson. And also welcome Jonathan Decker, who is an ed tech specialist at the School District of Palm Beach County. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you, Melissa. And welcome, everybody. We're really pleased that you're sharing this part of this great conference with us. Jonathan and I are longtime colleagues in the industry, in the ed tech industry. So working here at Palm Beach is on Blender is like old home week for us. So we have a lot to tell you about today, and we do have a few slides and a presentation to give you. So without further ado.
And I'd also like to say welcome and thank you. It's my privilege to be part of this. We'll get an opportunity to get a good look at how we're using Blender here and a little bit of an idea about what else Blender has to offer for other districts and some things that are coming down the pipe for us.
Right. So, you can go to the next slide.
You got it. And I'm going to go full screen with our presentation.
So we're really proud to be a part of all of this. And what we want to talk about today is really how you get the most out of Blender. One of the important things and one of the most exciting things for us is that we have been partnered here in Palm Beach since 2014. And Blender really grew up here and is modeled after the work that the teachers, administrators, and the needs of the students, all of that, kind of everything we know about what is needed really has come out of the growth of Blender within the Palm Beach environment. And so we're going to talk today about some of these important things that are stored in Blender, and you're going to hear about the one-stop shop over and over again because it's the most important concept that has come out of all of this. It's really access to everything, your curriculum, your resources, all of your colleagues, and then a set of tools to manage all of that. So we're going to talk through that today. And again, I can't say thank you enough to all of the work that has gone into Blender by all of the stakeholders in the district. Next slide. We say this about Blender a lot, that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Attributed to Aristotle. Not quite the exact quote, but the one that's used most frequently. But it really is important. It's the story of Blender is that there are many moving parts in your district, and we have many applications to deal with them, but they come together in a very consolidated and consistent way within the framework of Blender, and the tools that we provide for you to manage all of that. And how does that happen? Next slide. We focus on these main things, the one-stop shop again. When we say we're consolidating and curating the best content, we really do bring together every form of content that is produced in the district, whether it's textbooks, publishing materials that come in with adoptions or purchases. It's original content that is produced in the district. It's every type of format, etc. You will find all of that in our content library, and actually your Palm Beach's content library, with the tools to manage that. Right next to that is connectivity. Everybody is assigned their role. Everybody has a distinct role in the system. They get a dashboard, and there is a profile for every teacher, student, parent, anyone who's operating within Blender has a profile and access to the content and tools that they need. And then the third piece is just the ability to really engage with one another, to personalize the content, to be able to collaborate with colleagues. We have a set of communities that enable that and that enable professional learning, and you're going to be hearing and seeing a little bit more about that. But all of that comes together for the strong story that we do have, and it's really having all of that and the ability to manage everything that is worked on in order to produce the kind of instruction for students that your high goals aim for. That's really the Blender difference, is bringing all of that together. And I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan now to talk through some of the challenges, and then we'll see how Blender solves some of those.
All right. Well, what I would like to do is be able to put some of those great concepts into a visual brief tour, so we can get an idea of some of those things that are in place in Palm Beach County, and kind of allude to some of the others that maybe some of the other districts that have been using Blender might do. But here in Palm Beach County, the core concept we want to do is bring the content to the users based on their needs. And what a user will see in Palm Beach County, here you can see I have a demo middle school teacher who is assigned to teach some courses, and also has maybe opted for some additional courses for some support. So Blender has a personalized dashboard that includes the courses that they're teaching, and important announcements that would have come about through those individual courses. We also have direct links to a lot of the tools that are and a lot of the content that's curated in Blender. So if a teacher comes into Blender for the first time and they're not familiar with what BrainPop or BrainPop Junior might be, we have single sign-on worked out here, so our users can come in and click and go right on into the resources. And understand what they are. And if they want a little more further detail and support, we've got links to our district supports for each of those products. So we're kind of priming the conversation on the way in, saying these are the sorts of resources that you might find in your courses. You can take an opportunity to dive in or get some resources, or you can make your way right into the courses. What we've done in Palm Beach County is try to maintain as open an access as possible, so the teachers get their assigned courses, but if they would like to take a look at what is being taught above and below, they can add their courses by clicking into our full list of published courses. And again, my demo teacher sees all of the published courses. Teachers can come in and select those on demand. And once they have selected their courses, they will have them on their homepage. Excuse me. I lost my slide. Gail, if you wouldn't mind talking for a minute, I had a slide that I was supposed to pull up here.
Well, one of the things that when we talk about personalization, and Jonathan is showing some of that, these home pages and these pages are really selected by what teachers are assigned to teach, but they can add to these landing pages with interests and with additional courses that they want to have at their fingertips. Again, the one stop shop concept means not only access to everything, but having everything within a click. So we really do aim to have that ability to personalize whenever necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. And rather than try and go through the slides that I pulled together, I think the best thing to do is to kind of give us a tour of what a course in our Blender currently consists of. So I'm going to go in and pick a mathematics course, and we'll go over some of the key concepts that we consider important for our one-stop shop. And the idea that Blender is the district's kind of gold standard for the resources that would be used to get throughout the year, and really good suggestions on how to work their way through the year. The established expectations for a course in Blender would be that a teacher would be able to come in, and again, they get their announcements. Those announcements could be related to upcoming trainings or important information. A lot of the groups will use them for like weekly updates. They may have a weekly update or information that needs to be shared. And then really you get down to really what the beauty of Blender is, and that is it's a digital planning tool kind of on steroids. It's a content mapper in 3D, and a teacher should be able to come in and get an overall concept concept mapping of what is needed for the course throughout the entire year. So the elements that are going to be included in all of our Blender courses are the scope and pacing, the resources that might need to be covered, really great breakdown of the standards information. With the change here of standards here in Florida, it's become really, really important that the teachers have a good, quick access to the updated standards and the information that are needed. So scope and pacing, again, is how the teachers would work their way through the year. A lot of the groups will visualize that for the teachers through the use of embedded Google calendars. This will help the teachers see what's upcoming. And these links will actually take them right into the units that they would need to get to, so you can move forward in the year. The teacher wants to see where they're going to be, as they're getting ready for the holiday break. They can come in and click right to that unit. And so the scope and pacing is really, really important to help the teachers know if they're staying on target. Resources are going to take all kinds of formats and a variety in the way they look. In the elementary courses, everything is really done nice and pleasant for the teachers. The pages are really well spaced out and grouped so that people can understand it. But again, these are the key resources that would be at the course level. Another key element is making sure that where the teachers know if they have upcoming assessments and getting access to how their students have done. So what our teachers will find in Blender is if there's been a common assessment given, if it hasn't been given yet, they'll get the information about the upcoming assessments. But once those assessments have been given, we have back-end integrations with our performance system, student performance system, to allow the teachers to click on their results and go in, and they will be taken to their class specific results. So Blender kind of ties in the idea that you're planning out your year, the resources to use throughout the year, but also a quick check-in, say, all right, these are the assessments that we've done up to this point. Let's check in and see how those students are doing on those concepts. Another technology integration that we have is with all of our adopted textbooks. We have single sign-on, and we've worked out agreements with the vast majority of them to have links provided to us for placement in Blender, so our teachers can come in and not only get direct single sign-on to the textbooks, but even more to the point that we've worked out thin common cartridge delivery with LTI links, a number of different solutions that would allow our teachers to find specific textbook resources. And so here's an example. Teacher has worked through the year. They're working in Unit 2. They come in. the math team has done a great job of visualizing what the most important standards and concepts are to deal with through that unit. It helps them brace themselves for it, and then they will take those resources in whatever format they come in. Again, you'll see things here: reference Jamboard, textbook links, online third-party resources, all done so that the teacher can come in just at the point of need and find those resources. And again, now specific to the unit, even more in-depth standard support. So that's kind of the premise of what we're trying to do across the board. Elementary math has done a phenomenal job. We always give them great kudos for doing that. And then I also wanted to show so textbook, and I already mentioned, I'm sorry. So the textbook access, if the course has textbooks, the teachers can find their direct access there. But not only will the teachers find their textbook access here, and if they want to be able to get in and look at the textbooks, they can also go to their home. Part of that personalized experience, and I'm sorry for jumping around, my slides escaped me this morning. So if the teacher comes in, they'll also have any of their assigned textbooks right on their homepage. So again, adding to that personalized experience of what Blender is, they have the courses they're assigned, as well as direct access to the textbooks and the primary resources that are assigned to them. Alongside the instructional courses, we also have a number of district support courses. So when you're looking for your courses, our teachers can filter them. You'll see some of them are called out as district support courses. They may not be necessarily, I'm coming in to teach biology from start to finish, but we also have some wonderful support courses in Blender that allows the teachers to really prep themselves on really important concepts for supporting all the audiences that are in your school. We know the students have a variety of academic needs, and there's different strategies to use. STEM course is an example of how the curriculum teams have done a nice job of providing a resource that teachers from multiple subject areas might want to come in and get a refresher on what are the trending STEM strategies, what are some upcoming opportunities to learn more about STEM. Do we have videos? Are there upcoming virtual field trips that you might be able to use in it? And then they've built out scaffolded support with how to implement STEM strategies across the grade levels. So this is a visual of how our curriculum teams have been very creative in the way they use this very organized environment of Blender to support the primary instruction, many elective courses, as well as a lot of the key concepts that are needed to support the courses. So in that way, you'll see the district's support focuses on ESOL. Actually, let's do it. So we have ESOL support. We have access course resources. We have multi-language, dual language support in here. A lot of great supports that are just generally good resources for our teachers to have as a resource. And those would be the sorts of courses that might not be assigned with their schedules, their teaching day, but that they could add to their homepage and have in Blender. There's a lot of other opportunities within Blender to personalize even more. Teachers can make bookmarks, they can write notes, they can share notes on pages if they want to do common planning or write sub plans. There's a lot of opportunity to go in and really, even though the district has done a great job of putting out a course that is best practices for getting from start to finish, teachers have the ability to come in here and personalize and share their own kind of thoughts around how that content might be used in their classes. So extremely sorry about the slip up on my slides, but hopefully you can get an overview here and feel The idea is that we're trying to bring the content to the teachers, whether it's through the work of their curriculum teams or through the work of Blender, and allowing us to integrate resources from all those other resources. Teachers can go in without the need to necessarily peel off into all the different platforms that we have at our disposal, or all the great third-party resources or OERs that are out there, without the need to look at all of those. The curriculum teams have done a really great job here in Palm Beach County of laying out a great baseline of how to get through the year. So I know it was a little convoluted. Melissa, is there, thank you. Have there been any questions that have come up other than the fact that I didn't have my slide deck?
No questions so far. If anybody has a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat, and I can share it with Jonathan and Gail.
Okay. All righty.
So I think I'm always amazed at the number of there are 4 pillars of instruction, but there are also, in order to achieve that digital classroom, there are so many things that have to come together, which is really what Blender has learned from Palm Beach, is how to bring all of that together, how to personalize at the same time that you're standardizing according to Florida standards. It's an interesting balance. And having access to all of those materials, and the ability for every teacher and every administrator in Palm Beach to be able to contribute and to share those things really has made the difference. So just to sum up in the next slide, really some of the highlights is just, again, getting the most out of Blender now before we start to talk about the future is really that capability to personalize the courses and the materials, to have that ability to plan, teach, assess, and analyze all within the same environment. There's help within the system. There's training materials and help, but also, of course, Jonathan's team, the ed tech team, is there and reachable through the help desk. The ability to share feedback, and then really Blender grows every year, and we are adding new things along our roadmap every single year, and that's what I want to talk about now, because we have a number of exciting things coming in 2022. During the pandemic, we were supplying Blender to anyone who needed it. However, we were also behind the scenes upgrading Blender, using that opportunity to upgrade it to really get ready for the exciting things that are coming in 2022. Certainly at the top of the list, given the districts and really districts across the country, the use of Google Classroom has grown tremendously, and Blender has, it's kind of when Blender met Google, we have built closer and closer connections to Google, and just upgraded again Blender in order to be able to do that even more effectively as we move forward. We are working on a new user interface, which is far more than just freshening up the look. We're going to give you a sneak peek of that, because it really does introduce some new capabilities that we're very excited about. We will be increasing the use of Blender communities. Those are a place within Blender where collaboration can take place and where professional learning courses can take place. One of the differences in Blender communities is that it's not just a forum for discussions, but you can do that. But really, it's the combination of the content that's available in the Learning Object Repository and the course catalog, and the ability to bring all of that into a community, share that, and then be able to fully collaborate around that. And there are an unlimited number of communities available in Blender, and they can be managed by the district. That's not something that SRG Technology has to set up. Those are all things that get managed on the district level. We're looking at a smarter Blender. In this past year, we have a gold partnership with IBM, and part of that partnership is the ability to embed exciting new technologies, and we are working with them and a couple of their partners on being able to bring Watson AI technology into Blender. And that will be applied to a number of things: virtual assistants, enabling people to find all kinds of things on the web and vet those, the ability to meta tag and organize content at new levels, and in a more automated way. So it really is a smarter, more economic way of working. And then all of the things that you see AI doing, we're certainly looking at the capabilities that that can bring to Blender. And then last but not least, the Blender Exchange is something that a site that has grown out of the partnership with Palm Beach. Palm Beach many years ago said that, given the girth and the wealth of the content, that it wanted to share that content with other districts. And we established the Blender Exchange as just such a place. And that concept has grown to a full site, which will launch by the end of October, where districts can share in communities, can collaborate with one another. And again, the Palm Beach content has always been the anchor of the Blender Exchange, and will continue to do so. And that's an exciting launch for us, and teachers will be able to participate fully in the lessons and shared best practices from districts across the country. Just as a sneak peek of the new user interface, you will see, again, the one-stop shop is still at the top of our priorities, but we bring even more to the homepage here by a better and more graphical organization of it. You'll see that still the same capability for calendar, assignments, messages, the ability to get to your resources. There's a click off for every single one of those things. So as you come in the morning, you can still reach everything. Your courses, as they're assembled, are still in the well of your homepage, so to speak. They're a little bit more graphical this time, but the same concept applies. And this time there is a better display of community. So any community that you're a member of, you again select those which communities you want displayed, and at your fingertips. The other thing that's brand new and coming in 22 is really at the top of the page, which is a badging system and reward system, and then a leaderboard. So we will be able to do badging for teachers and students as we move forward. So we're very excited about the new user interface, obviously more graphical, but still able to conceptualize all of those really serious materials. And when we do an interface, we have to be mindful of the many serious things managed by an education district, at the same time that everybody wants to have a fresher and newer interface, more like your Netflix interaction than the old interfaces. So if you click on one of those courses, today you reach these same instructional materials, but in the new interface, you also get a full array, not only of the materials that go with that course, but the students who are in your class. Really, your class is made up of students, primarily, and the need to address them. And this gives that teacher the ability to go right to the students within each class. One of the big parts of the new interface incorporates learner profiles, which focus on the ability for a full profile for teachers and students, and goal setting, and the ability to for students to learn how to manage goals, set goals up, manage them, and move forward is a big part of that. And that's what you're seeing here, is really the teacher looking at the status of the goals. Communities at the bottom. The communities you see on your ELA page would not be the same as the communities on your homepage. They would be updating according to the context of where you are in the system. Next one. And then this would be an example of a learner profile. Again, you see the student with access to the same things that everyone has access to. Again, the one-stop shop for students as well as teachers. Key to Blender is the ability to integrate with every system that is important to the district we're in. And in Palm Beach, that's Google and a number of other content providers. And you would see that access within each one of these dashboards, and the ability to go in and out of those systems seamlessly. But again, the one-stop shop is always at the top of mind. Last but not least is the Blender Exchange. A look at that. We're right now building that homepage as we speak for the launch in October. But again, we will be looking at bringing in lesson plans, original materials, communities, and a number of resources from districts across the country, and those will be accessible as members join the Blender Exchange. And our next steps, we have a booth here at the conference in Exhibit Hall A, and I hope you will stop by that exhibit and grab some of the materials and see what we're doing. I hope that you will grab in your swag bag the Blender video that Jonathan very carefully put together. It really is a full training and orientation to Blender, and really walks you through the full capabilities and the value of Blender in Palm Beach as we've been managing the content thoroughly through that. And then please do at the conference chat with us. We're manning the booth and would love to hear from everyone and can answer questions as we go. And if there are any questions, please put them in the chat. We'd love to answer anything that has come up. I can't see them, Jonathan, so you have to tell me.
We're checking the chat now.
Okay.
What I would like to say is that the video does a nicer job of stepping through some of those slides that were AWOL, and it was all on me. So I am very sorry about that, because the tour of Blender is thoroughly mapped out in that, as well as the key support documents, which are available in Blender directly. And anybody that needs to get a follow-up refresher here locally, please reach out to me. I'm happy to get you in touch with the most recent training materials that we have for Blender.
So thank you very much for everything that everyone is doing at Palm Beach in order to make Blender a better and better product each year. We're very excited about the next steps. And thank you all for joining us today. I think Melissa's coming. Yep.
I would like to offer a huge thanks and a warm welcome to Gail, who is joining us from SRG, and also to Jonathan for the wonderful presentation and the great information that they shared. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. Jonathan, Gail, anything to add?
No, just thank you again, and this has been it's an exciting conference, and we've been enjoying every single minute of it, and we're just pleased to be here, and thank you for joining us for part of it.
Thank you so much, Gail. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, just a quick reminder for the rest of the day, please join us at our next session, which is session D. It will begin at 1:45. Everything from this session and all sessions will be on the EdTech platform at technology.palmbeachschools.org. And from the entire EdTech team, we would like to offer a big thank you for all of you that are joining us. We hope that you learn and share with your peers, and we were happy to have you at the session, and we look forward to seeing you later on in the day.